Force yourself to take action day by day. Not when it's convenient, not when it's easy, not when you feel like it. Every single day. The people who win in life aren't the ones waiting on a perfect plan or a perfect mood. They're the ones who move when it's uncomfortable, who take the first step when their legs are shaking, who show up when nobody's clapping. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need another pep talk. What you need is to make a decision right now to act. Because motivation is a feeling, and feelings are flaky. Discipline is a commitment. Discipline says, even when I don't feel like it, I do it anyway. Motivation might get you started, but discipline gets you results. You want transformation, you want elevation, then discipline must become your default. Fear? Let me tell you something about fear. Fear doesn't leave you alone because you think about it. Fear doesn't disappear because you journal about it. Fear runs when you move. Fear backs down when you show up. Action is the enemy of fear. The longer you sit still, the louder your doubts get. But when you take action, even if it's small, fear loses its grip. So stop sitting there wrestling with what ifs. Get up and move. Put your hands to something. Build momentum. Because fear cannot ride a moving train. Every day you take action, you're building more than results. You're building mental muscle. You're proving to yourself who you are. That's the real reward. It's not just what you're achieving. It's who you're becoming. Every time you do what you said you would do, even when it's hard, your confidence compounds. And confidence built on action is unshakable. You don't get that from wishing, you get that from doing. Excuses are lies. Lies dressed up to sound reasonable. I'm tired. I'll start Monday. I don't know enough. Lies. You're not tired. You're undisciplined. You don't need Monday. You need to take responsibility. You know enough. You're just afraid. Stop letting your comfort zone negotiate the price of your potential, because the comfort zone never charges you up front. It bills you later with interest. And the invoice always says regret. You need to understand something. The pain of discipline is temporary. The pain of regret lasts forever. Discipline costs effort, sweat, a few sleepless nights. Regret costs opportunity, legacy, and the version of you that never got to live. Which one do you want to pay? You can choose the short-term burn of progress or the lifelong sting of knowing you never gave it your all. Let me make it plain. Success doesn't belong to the smartest. It doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most relentless. The ones who keep swinging when they're tired. The ones who keep showing up when no one believes in them. The ones who take action every day when no one's watching. That's the key. Consistency beats intensity when intensity doesn't last. So what do now? You force yourself, not once, not for a week, but day by day. Get up earlier, go the extra mile, make the call, hit the gym, write the page, build the business, push past your feelings. Because your feelings don't build your future, your habits do. The person you want to become, the life you want to live, is on the other side of consistent, uncomfortable, uncompromising action every day, no matter what. So stop waiting, start moving, and never stop. Discipline is the engine that drives lasting success, while motivation is just the spark that starts the car. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes like the weather. Unpredictable, unreliable. You feel motivated one moment and the next you're looking for reasons to delay. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't need to be in the mood. Discipline says, I show up no matter what. So it's not about excitement, it's about execution. People lose because they rely too heavily on motivation. They wait for the perfect mindset, the perfect energy, the perfect inspiration. But success doesn't come to the most inspired. It comes to the most consistent. And consistency is a byproduct of discipline. Discipline makes you do the work when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when no one is cheering you on. Discipline keeps your feet moving when your mind is full of doubt. The truth is, the difference between the successful and the average is not talent, it's not luck, it's not even intelligence. It's the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. That's discipline. It's brushing your teeth in the dark. It's going to the gym when your body wants rest. It's building the business when nobody's buying. It's writing the book when nobody's reading. Motivation is emotional hype. Discipline is a decision. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline says, it doesn't matter, I do it anyway. If your progress is determined by your mood, then your success will always be unstable. But if your progress is driven by discipline, you become unstoppable. Because discipline builds habits. Habits shape your identity, and identity defines your destiny. The moment you shift from chasing motivation to cultivating discipline is the moment everything changes. You don't rise when you feel good, you rise when you do good. You don't build a powerful life on passion alone, you build it on principles. And discipline is the principle that transforms potential into power. So stop waiting to feel ready. Start training yourself to be ready. Discipline is not something you're born with, it's something you build. And the more you build it, the less you need to wait for motivation. Fear is not something you outthink, it's something you outrun through action. Fear feeds on hesitation. The longer you wait, the louder it gets. The more you analyze, the more power you give it. But the moment you move, the moment you take that first uncomfortable step, fear starts to shrink. It cannot survive in motion. Action disrupts the loop of doubt. It breaks the pattern of paralysis. You don't need to conquer all your fear in one day. You just need to act in spite of it. Fear is a liar. It whispers worst-case scenarios. It exaggerates risk. It tells you that failure will ruin you, that rejection will define you, that trying is too dangerous. And if you sit still long enough, those lies start to sound like truth. But when you take action, even small, imperfect action, you interrupt fear's signal. You prove through movement that you're bigger than the threat. Fear wants you frozen. Action gets you free. You don't need courage to act. You need to act to develop courage. Most people are waiting to feel fearless before they start, but that's not how it works. You don't wait for the fear to leave. You move while it's still there. And as you take steps forward, that fear transforms into strength. Confidence doesn't come from affirmations, it comes from action. Confidence is built through reps. The more you act, the more you realize fear has no bite. Everything you want is sitting on the other side of discomfort. That business you want to launch, the call you're scared to make, the dream you've been sitting on, it's all locked behind a door called fear. And the key is action. Action unlocks doors. Action creates clarity. Action makes the impossible possible. Because when you move, you gain data, you learn, you adapt, you grow. And suddenly what seemed terrifying becomes manageable. Stop overthinking. Stop rehearsing your fears. Stop building mental prisons with what ifs. You don't solve fear by running from it. You solve it by facing it. One move, one call, one decision. That's all it takes to change the trajectory of your life. Fear may never disappear completely, but when you train yourself to act anyway, it loses its control over you. So next time fear shows up, don't sit and negotiate. Don't beg it to leave. Take action. Prove to fear that it picked the wrong person. Taking action every day doesn't just move you closer to your goals, it rewires your mind. It builds mental muscle the same way lifting weights builds physical strength. Each time you do the thing you said you would do, whether it's big or small, you're training your brain to believe you're a person of discipline, focus, and execution. That belief compounds. It builds confidence. It builds confidence. It reshapes your self. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and you start seeing yourself as someone who does. Daily action creates momentum, and momentum is a powerful force. Once it's rolling, it's hard to stop. But it doesn't start with a breakthrough. It starts with consistency. One choice, one habit, one step, repeated over and over. Most people underestimate what they can build with small, consistent efforts. They want to go big once rather than go small daily. But greatness is not in what you do once, it's in what you do repeatedly. Champions aren't built in a day, they're built daily. Every day you take action, even when you don't feel like it, you're reinforcing a pattern. You're making it easier to do it again tomorrow. That's mental muscle. That's how habits are formed and strengthened. Think of your brain like a field. Every time you take action, you're carving a path. Do it once, it's a faint trail. Do it daily and it becomes a highway. Eventually that action becomes automatic. That's when the discipline becomes identity. But it works both ways. If you choose laziness, hesitation, or excuses daily, those behaviors also become habits. They dig ruts in your mind that are hard to climb out of. That's why it's crucial to be intentional with your daily actions. You are not just doing things, you are becoming someone. Your habits are shaping your character, and your character determines your future. You don't get mentally strong by reading books, watching videos, or attending seminars. You get mentally strong by showing up when it's hard, by doing the work when nobody's watching, by staying consistent when nobody's clapping. That's how mental toughness is built. In the dark, in the quiet, in the daily grind. So don't wait for inspiration. Don't chase massive motivation. Just commit to one action today and then do it again tomorrow. Stack those actions, stack those wins, because that stack becomes your strength. And when life hits, it's that strength, the mental muscle, that keeps you from folding. It keeps you moving. It keeps you winning. Excuses are nothing more than lies dressed up as reasons. They sound logical, they feel justified, but they are the language of limitation. Every time you make an excuse, you're telling yourself a story that protects your comfort and delays your growth. I'm too tired. I don't have time. I'm not ready. Those aren't facts. They're convenient lies that let you off the hook. And the worst part, you start to believe them. You repeat them so often, they become part of your identity. Excuses are a way of negotiating with your potential. They let you settle. They let you stay safe. But comfort is a killer. It slowly drains your ambition. It convinces you that you'll get started someday when everything is perfect. But someday is a myth. There's no perfect time. There's only now. And the longer you make excuses, the more that window of opportunity closes. The more you condition yourself to hesitate, to delay, to hide behind fear. The truth is, every excuse has a counteraction. Too tired? Go anyway and build stamina. No time? Cut something that doesn't serve your goals. Not ready? Start now and figure it out on the way. Success isn't about convenience, it's about commitment. And commitment means doing it even when conditions aren't ideal. Excuses make you a victim of circumstances. Action makes you a creator of outcomes. People don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they keep giving themselves an exit. Excuses become the escape route every time things get hard. But every time you choose an excuse, you're making a trade. You're trading your future for your feelings. You're trading purpose for temporary comfort. That's not a fair deal. That's not a smart investment. Excuses may give you relief in the moment, but they cost you everything long term. Your dreams, your goals, your growth, all sacrificed for a quick hit of comfort. If you want to rise, you have to get brutally honest with yourself. Call out the lie. Catch yourself in the act. Replace "I can't" with "how can I?" Replace "I don't feel like it" with "it must be done." Hold yourself accountable like your life depends on it, because it does. The person you want to become is buried underneath layers of excuses Peel them back. Rip them out. Get rid of the narrative that tells you you're not capable, not qualified, or not ready. You are, but only if you stop lying to yourself. Only if you start acting like your potential matters more than your feelings. No more justifications. No more stories. Just action, ownership, and execution. The pain of discipline is real, but it's temporary. It's the early mornings, the missed parties, the hard choices, the repetition, the grind when no one is watching. It's sacrificing comfort now for the life you want later. And yes, it can be uncomfortable. Discipline demands effort. It demands sacrifice. It demands focus when your mind is tired and drive when your body wants rest. But that pain doesn't last forever. It fades, and in its place comes strength, confidence, and momentum. Regret, on the other hand, is a different kind of pain. It's quiet, but it cuts deeper. It lingers longer. It shows up when the window of opportunity has already closed, when the time has passed, when the chance is gone. Regret is looking back at what could have been and knowing you didn't do what it took. It's knowing you were capable but not committed. That pain doesn't fade quickly. It echoes. It follows you because you can't undo regret. You can only carry it. When you choose discipline, you're choosing the hard thing now to avoid the harder thing later. You're choosing to pay the price up front so you don't have to pay with your future. Discipline hurts, but it's the pain that builds you. It makes you sharper. It makes you stronger. It forces you to stretch. And eventually, what used to be painful becomes your power. What used to feel heavy becomes light. What used to be hard becomes habit. But when you avoid discipline, when you choose comfort over calling, you accumulate regret. Not all at once, but slowly, day by day. Missed chances, wasted time, unlived potential. And one day you look back and realize the cost of avoiding discipline was the life you never built. That is a weight far heavier than a few hard days. That is a pain that doesn't teach, it torments. So the question is never will this be hard. It will. The real question is, which pain am I willing to live with? The pain of pushing yourself or the pain of wishing you had? You can struggle now and grow, or coast now and crumble later. You decide. Discipline demands something from you today, but it gives you everything tomorrow. Regret asks nothing of you now, but it robs you in the end. So choose wisely. Chase the discomfort that leads to destiny, not the ease that leads to emptiness. The pain of discipline will strengthen you. The pain of regret will haunt you. Choose your pain, choose your future. Success doesn't belong to the most gifted. It doesn't favor the smartest, the strongest, or even the best prepared. It belongs to the relentless. The ones who refuse to quit, who keep showing up, who keep pushing long after the talented have tapped out. Talent might get you attention. It might open a few doors, but talent without grit is wasted. It's the relentless that turn potential into power. It's the relentless that refuse to be denied. Relentless people don't wait for ideal conditions. They move in chaos. They act in uncertainty. They don't stop to measure how tired they are or how far they have left to go. They just keep going. They don't need a spotlight. They don't need applause. They are fueled by purpose, not praise. And that's why they win. Not because it's easy for them, but because they keep going when it's hard. You've seen it. The people who seem to come out of nowhere, who weren't the most skilled, but they never stopped. They outworked, outlasted, and outlearned everyone else. That's not luck. That's not magic. That's relentless effort, repeated over time. They kept knocking on the door until it broke off the hinges. They didn't wait for permission. They took responsibility. The world is full of talented people who never made it. People with ideas, with skills, with potential, but no persistence, no hunger, no fight. And so their talent became a memory instead of a legacy. Meanwhile, the relentless are still standing, still grinding, still rising because they made a decision. I will not be outlasted. I will not be denied. Success is not about how good you are once. It's about how consistent you can be every time. It's not about the performance you gave when the conditions were perfect. It's about the performance you deliver when everything is falling apart. That's what makes someone unstoppable. That's what builds greatness. So if you're not the most talented, good. That means you'll never fall in love with ease. You'll build your future with sweat, with grit, with raw determination. That means you'll never rely on natural ability. You'll build your strength through struggle. And that kind of strength, it lasts. Because when talent gets tired, when skill runs out, when the gifted hit a wall, the relentless break through it. Refuse to quit. Refuse to retreat. Refuse to settle. Success doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the relentless. And if you choose to be that, nothing can stop you. But here's the truth, plain and simple. The life you want, the future you dream about, the person you're meant to become, it all depends on what you do daily, not occasionally, not when you feel like it, every single day. Discipline over motivation, action over excuses, grit over talent. You don't rise by waiting, you rise by working, by showing up when it's hard, by moving through fear, not away from it. You forge mental strength one decision at a time. You build your future one choice at a time. And every time you force yourself to act, you cast a vote for the person you're